Hi guys, it's Colette. Coffee and chat. Get yourself a wee coffee or a tea, or whatever, and have a wee coffee with me. I just decided to do this in the middle of doing the weekly tarot card and stuff, and it's not for any great reason. I've had a lot of people say, "How are you? How are you?" and I can't answer them all individually with what I'd like to say. So this is the sort of health update. I am starting to feel the energy coming back. I do think the folate is building in my system, and I'm very happy about that. I still am quite exhausted at times, but that way when you can feel that you're turning the corner, well, that's the way I feel, because for months it's just been, I need to get back to somewhere to rest, almost just even desperate for a seat. And that's changing a bit, so I'm very happy with that. So thank you for everybody that's been very supportive and even given me wee tips and hints and stuff. I don't mind them as long as they're not kind of, you should do this or, watch this, because remember that you don't know my full history. There's an aspect of inflammatory disease and kidney disease, and also this folate deficiency, etc. So but I'm happy to get any little sort of things, particularly if people have had a folate deficiency. I'm not really absorbing it that well, but what has happened, I believe, is that the foods that I was trying to cut out to keep the kidneys healthy, actually, although they were high in potassium and sort of high in phosphorus and sodium, which I can't really have, but they're also quite high in folates. So in cutting them out, I actually cut out the folate that I needed, and I didn't have any supplements. So I think it was a dual thing that just... But the thing is, it's on its way, and I now believe, and I can feel that, we're turning a wee corner. And to do with that, yesterday being Samhain, I don't know when this will go up, but it's the 1st of November that I'm actually recording it. Yesterday being Samhain, I take the time to enjoy the energies and just feel the thinness of the veil at that time. And there was a few, and I also do a wee reading for myself, because I find it very easy to see White Storm at this time. I mean, I can see him well a lot of the time, but when the veil's very thin, it's even, it's even easier. So anyway, I'll tell you about that wee reading, but first I was thinking about my dad during the day, and I thought, I've just seen a spider up there. Oh well, hiya. I like spider medicine. I'll think on that. Weaving my own web as we go forward is kind of where I am just now. So anyway, I was thinking of my dad and how it tends to be other spirits that I'll see at Halloween. And I was thinking, well, he really liked Christmas. He wasn't so much a person for Halloween, but loved Christmas and Hogmanay, New Year's Day as well. And I was thinking, and I was on Facebook, and I've got a friend who has other friends, and because she'd posted some pictures, I was looking at the pictures, and there was a reply to one of them, and I had to burst out laughing because the person was Colette Ferrari. Now, my dad, when I was little, when I was getting a wee bit cheeky or a wee bit in his face, would call me either Colette Ferrari or Coletisha Ferrari. My maiden name's Ferry, so I was Colette Ferry, and he'd say, Coletisha Ferrari, come in here, or Colette Ferrari. I've never ever seen it anywhere else before, and here I was at Samhain going, well, I don't really expect to see my dad because it's not his time of year, and up came the name. And yes, it is someone else's name there, and I was like, thanks, Dad, okay. So there was a lovely synergy there, that it was lovely. So yeah, that was nice. So anyway, with the wee reading, it was like a wee background look, and I had a lot in my mind about the book, which I'm getting there. I set up a voice to type, which isn't ideal, but I think it'll be very workable. And it's all sorts of things I knew I needed to sort out before I could get back into the total writing. With writing, I tend to do a first draft of the book, but I never do it in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on the cusp of Gemini, so I pick what I feel right that I want to write about, either a chapter or a part of a chapter, and I do that. And that's good because it really flows and I'm doing what I want on any day that I'm doing it. But what happens is that the book then becomes very piecemeal with all sorts of different scenes or chapters or interludes. And it gets to the stage where I always reach the stage when I'm about halfway through it, half to maybe 2/3 through it, where I'm like, I can't make sense of this. Now, one of the reasons that I'd been doing that was, and you'll laugh at this, I had started this Afterlife book quite a wee while ago, and I had the introduction and then chapter 1. I knew what I wanted to do. They were done, and they hadn't been edited, but they were there and they were complete, and I was happy about it. Got through the summer. Alexander came in, granny time, nana time, all this stuff, and it was great. And I thought, I need to get back on with this book. And this was just as I was kind of going downhill with the folate stuff. And I thought, I need to write chapter 1. So I did. I wrote it again, and I ended up with 2 chapter 1s. Now, they're actually from a slightly different angle, which causes a problem, because if I'd just rewritten it the whole way, that they were almost identical, I could go, right, just take that one out, stick with that one. But they're not. There's good things in both of the chapter 1s. But because I was lacking in the energy, every time I went to try and sort it, which literally meant taking bits from one, putting it in another, or print it all out and having a complete rewrite. Every time I did that, I didn't feel I had the accuracy or the brain power. Basically, the folate stuff, when you're deficient in it, just makes you feel like you're in a fog. You can't reach the word that you want. Now, for a writer who's always been able to find the words very quickly, that is hell. And that's the part of it that was getting me very frustrated. And no, when I was looking at these 2 chapters, both chapter 1, that I could take that, and if I had used this word, it would merge them, and then I couldn't get the word. And it wasn't anything neurological or anything, it was simply brain fog. So I left that part of the book. So in doing my general reading last night, I asked about the Afterlife book, specifically writing, but mainly the Afterlife book, and it kind of split. White Storm was here and kind of split it and said, no, general writing for fun is okay, if you want to do that. And I was like, okay, what about the book? And basically, with using the tarot cards in his, he said basically, Hanged Man, delay or sacrifice it for 2 moon cycles, which takes us to the end of December, i.e. starting fresh in January. And there was part of my heart went, it's putting it off. And then there was another part that was like, oh, thank goodness, because it's a mess at the moment. I'd need a giant board. I can't work with, like mood boards or whatever on the computer. I have to have them in sheets of paper everywhere. So you can imagine what it looks like in my folders or whatever. However, I thought, okay, what about other writing? It was like, well, if you wanted to write a wee, if you wanted to write something for a magazine, or you wanted to write something for your channels or whatever, that's fine. But it has to be something that's not work as such. And it's been over 2 years now since the Memoirs book's been out, and it still makes a wee bit of money, but not enough really. So I was starting to get worried about that, because getting this book out by March is necessary. Just for us to flow nicely. It's not a big thing, but I used to do, like, this will be my 10th book, and my first one came out in 2011, which means in 8 years I've had 9 books out. But it isn't. It's actually 2 years I've been trying to write this. I was nearly swearing out this one. And it's a hard book, but it's worth it, and I'm really proud of what I've done with it, and I'm proud of everything that everybody's given me for it. But it's one of the most frustrating books ever, and I think it's because I really want it to be very, very right, particularly for those that have given me their stories. So I'm going to let it go for the 2 months. Whitestorm kind of assured me that once I'm into January that folate levels will be up and I'll be able to get back to it, and it'll actually probably just come out at the same time, because it's 2/3 of the way there now. It's a case of just having someone lock me in a room somewhere for hours and let me have bits of paper on the floor and see where this is going. So the book, reckon it'll still be out next March, which would be good, and that's when I was aiming for anyway, but I'm actually having a 2 moon break from it. And actually last night I was like, well, this is great, because I've got things I haven't been doing. I haven't been reading as much as I liked, and the book I've just finished I've put outside, and because of the illness I'd started just meditating, yes, but instead of going on YouTube and maybe getting caught up, it happens. I mean, I have found things on YouTube that I never knew. I mean, I actually sat one day and watched a video on how to use a giant emery board to get the hoofs of a goat to the right size, and a donkey as well. And I was watching it fascinated, because I'm a very curious person. I love to learn new things all the time when I can. But there was absolutely no reason for me to watch videos on how to literally give a goat a pedicure and a donkey. But it was quite interesting, and as I say, I watch stuff just because I want to know. But after I'd done that, I thought, just be a wee bit more sensible here, Colette. And then I thought it might be a past life thing, so who knows? But I quite enjoyed it. Anyway, I've lost the plot now. So I've been doing more reading, and I've got 2 book reviews coming up, which are already filmed. I just haven't got round to editing them, but they will be up in the next few weeks. I've got a pile of books from other authors. I'm sorry, I am getting through them. I didn't expect to be so ill, and I didn't expect to be a nana that's got Alexander on my brain most of the time, because he's gorgeous. That's him over 6 months now. He's a wee star, an absolute star. I can't wait for Christmas with him. So I had I gifted myself Barack Obama's autobiography, which is a huge book, and I kept looking at it and thinking, I'll get round to it while doing the spiritual books and reading some novels. And my daughter came up and said, Mum, I don't have time to read at the moment with the young baby. You might enjoy this. And she gave me Michelle Obama's Becoming book, her autobiography. And right away I went to it, and I just finished it last night, and it's a fantastic read. I really, really enjoyed it. I've always liked the woman, and I've always liked the way that she did things, particularly in her own terms. And I thought in some way she would be like, to me, she comes over as very, very loving and caring and effervescent as such. And I thought she would either be a water sign like Cancerian or maybe Sagittarius. But reading her story, she's actually quite reserved and likes her lists and everything. And she's a Capricorn. And reading her story, honest to God, this woman is a Capricorn, and it was quite interesting, I must admit. So I've just finished that, and I've got there's a book review going up for this one, All That We Are, I think next week. I've got Dedicated to Destiny that I'm going to read, and this one is just a wee one, but I'm really interested in it. It's Pagan Portal's Mananian MacLear, which is a Celtic god of the sea. And then my daughter gave me this, The Language of Kindness, a nurse's story, which is, again, I love people's stories. I would read them all the time. And I've got another 7 books in there that are all waiting on review, and another 4 novels in the bookcase in the hall. So I needed to get back to reading. I really did, and I'm back now. And this 2 months that I'm not going to be writing will be good, and I hope to get more book reviews up. And I also said to Sir Whitestone, what about YouTube? And he was like, no, do that, because, you know, that's kind of spontaneous. I can do that and enjoy doing this without it being too... It's not intensely having to find a word. If I can't find a word, or if I'm tired or whatever, and I'm having this, you don't seem to mind, which is great. So I'm having almost a fortnight off, but not YouTube. And that's good as well. Yeah. What else was there to talk about? Jim's been up here with, so his hip muscle's been really playing up, and it's just he's got arthritis in his spine, and there's nothing can be done about it. I felt quite sorry for him, and then I pulled the muscle on my hip, and then Benji's back went out. So Nellie was the only one that was actually reasonably walking straight. Poor Benji he's getting old, and I love him to bits, but he's just a wee darling, but he's also a wee grumpy darling at the moment, and it's just cause his back's sore. He's got a wee disc that's moved, and he's actually got a dislocated front foreleg joint, and it doesn't bother him in any way, but when he's standing you can see it more now. It's like he's getting bow-legged. So yeah, out of the 4 of us living in the house, Nellie was the only one that actually was walking in a straight line or not yelping. So mine's easing off, thank goodness, and Jim's got the TENS machine on, and hopefully it'll be fine. He overestimates what he can do anyway. So I'm sure that from time to time his back will get worse, and it's possibly, yes, it is his disease, there's no doubt about it, but it's also something that he's tried to do. And as I say, everything else we're getting on with fine. I love the autumn. I want to take photos of the wood outside, but again, just not had the energy to do much. And the back garden's kind of finished now for the winter, and I do love this time of year. I really do. Oh, another thing, it might be a wee bit early, but I tend to, my daughter's birthday's in September, and I've always been one that when her birthday was out the picture, I would always start planning for Christmas, because money-wise it just suited better to start. So normally by this time of year I've got most of my Christmas presents in, which is kind of the case this year, apart from I'll probably still keep buying for Alexander. I think we're over budget as it is, but I went out of my way this year to make a point that I wanted to do away with so much waste. I love Christmas and stuff, and we tend to stick with the decorations and stuff we've had for years, and there's a lot of foliage and pine nuts and everything round about the cottage that can just look absolutely lovely with a few wee sort of lights in it or candles around it. So, we don't need for that. But I've always been appalled at the amount of waste that goes on in Christmas paper and Christmas cards and tags. Because most of them aren't recyclable, especially ones with like tinsel, sort of, what do you call it? See, I'm missing the word here again. Glitter on them, and also a lot of the glitter we know now ends up in the sea, and is like little glitter microbeads, which really is harmful to the environment. So this year, I got brown paper and brown paper bags, completely recyclable. Tags I normally do myself, but they had proper ones that were totally recyclable, so I just bought them. And instead of sending cards that are, to daughter and son, this, that, and next thing, I've got a charity card that's just going out to everybody. Not the one, but the one design, and that's it. The envelopes and everything are all recyclable. Excuse me. I'm happy with that. It will make me more creative, because obviously the brown paper bags and stuff like that could look quite bare, but with a wee bit of foliage, and people that know me know I collect ribbons. I've always been a ribbon person for magic, so I've always got lots of different types of ribbons, and I like tartan ribbons as well. So there you go. So now I'm a closet ribbon collector. So like a wee bit of foliage and a wee bit of tartan ribbon stuck on something, and you're fine. So I know it could look quite stark, but I aim for it not to. And I'm looking forward to maybe having the time that I would be writing, maybe to get things done like that. Which is easy. Everybody will just get a brown paper bag with nothing on it. But if that's the case, that's the case. So I was wondering if maybe you were thinking of being more environmentally friendly at Christmas. I know it's a drop in the ocean. I know it is, because all the commercialism probably is really, really toxic at what's meant to be a very, very holy and spiritual time. So if you're thinking of that, also if you've got any ideas that you've worked with just for Christmas decorations or Christmas ornaments or whatever that are totally environmentally friendly, put in the comments. Let's have a wee look, because that would be a lot of fun as well. Yeah. So I know some of you are like, oh, Christmas, but we have family solstice celebrations first, which normally, the weekend beforehand normally starts about the 12th or something. So my festive season is solstice, Christmas, Hogmanay, and then a big rest. So I really only got a few, 5-6 weeks to go maximum. So I apologise for the C word, the Christmas word, but it is what it is. So let me know, and I think I'll stop now. The last time I did a few videos in a row, I enjoyed it, and then later on that night I was like, well, Jim, I've got a really sore throat. I hope I'm not coming down with a sore throat. And he was like, you've just talked too much. I was like, okay, thank you for that. But it is true, because when I'm feeling that wee bit more energetic, I'm chatting in his ear whenever he'll listen to me. I'm chatting to the dogs, I'm chatting online, and oh my god, so I think I do use this voice of mine quite a lot. So anyway, I'm going to go before it fails, and just give me a thumbs up if you like the weekly tarot. No, not weekly tarot card. I've just done that one. If you like the coffee and chat, and hope you've enjoyed a wee coffee with me or a wee tea. I'll get this mouse moving again. So I always have to do this because my mouse switches itself off, and then I have to click on it and then find the wee bit arrow and button again, and then look back up at the camera and go, many blessings, bye now.